Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we are going to be unboxing an intake manifold. This is going to be for the C7 project. We need something to support that twin turbo kit for when it gets here, and also because I bought that K-Tech throttle body. Since I bought that, we need something to support the 103mm throttle body. Well, it just so happens I picked up this really cool intake manifold from Holley. Now, the reason why I chose this one is because there are so many options. You can literally piece this thing together however you want it. If you want to add 8 more injectors, 8 more, what you would end up doing is ordering it so you could have another set of injectors that sit on top of your intake manifold. I don't need that. The reason why is because I don't want extra computer systems and all that other fun stuff. So I did not order that model. You can though if you would like to run that and then run a separate fuel system that ties in so you can run 16 injectors if you so wish and want to go that route. Not doing that. Anyways, the next thing, you can add a burst plate to it. So if you're really worried about the intake manifold being blown off the top of the block or the heads, go ahead and you can get that. You will have to cut probably a hole inside your hood, so that way if the burst plate does launch, it shoots outside of the vehicle. If you, of course, bolt that under the hood, it's just going to go right into your hood and do damage anyway. It'll bounce around the vehicle and so on and so forth. You can also order different intake for the very front, so that way you can fit different throttle bodies. Again, this will make more sense once I pull this out. It's really, really cool. Let's just get into this. So, you open this up. It comes with an extremely big box. I've already taken out some of the packing materials that were in here. As you can see, we're gonna have to make our own gaskets. We have our own bolts and stuff in there. We will come over here, pull out this piece, which we will unbox afterwards. I just wanna get all the pieces on the table. The biggest piece being this one. So this one, I'm actually gonna leave the box probably in here, possibly. Let's take a look. We just go down here. This is the base of it. What this allows us to do is bolt this onto the heads. This is your intake runners right in here, and it goes right into the motor. Or well, I should say the heads. So what you can do, if you're getting your block machined, you can actually give them this if they're putting your engine together, and they can actually port it to the exact on your heads. So that way, if there is any casting imperfections, they can make it mate with the block perfectly. So if you're planning on doing that, don't assemble this. Give this piece right here to the company that's doing your machining, so that way they can machine this piece to the head. We've gone ahead and shown you that. Let's show you the part where our throttle body is going to go onto. Holy smokes, I got butterfingers today. This is your new throttle body gasket. That'll be for when we attach the throttle body. Put that somewhere safe so it doesn't get broken. This right here will be the front part, which is the opposite side of this. And we will be bolting that up for a throttle body to attach to. And then right here is the part where you can order a burst plate on top. This is the top of the Plenum. And this would go just like this. Again, it's a full build it yourself kind of kit for your intake manifold. Really, really cool kit. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna pull some of this out of the packaging. You don't need to watch me do that. I'm gonna snap my fingers and it'll be done. As you can see on here, again, we'll have a new gasket that's gonna run lengthwise up and through here. Then what will happen is this right here will sit just like so, up right like that. And then this piece is going to bolt on right here. Don't worry, it's got some rub marks here. I'm gonna go through. I'm pretty sure it just needs a nice cleaning. But yes, that's how it's gonna sit. Let's flip this around. I wanna go over a couple things with you. So on this side, you're gonna notice you have some attachments. This is for, of course, adapting to vacuum line. You can also adapt it for other things that need your intake manifold pressure sensor, which is actually down here. Sorry, this is your map sensor down here. And then what I'm actually gonna do is use this one to feed to my dry sump because it needs a fresh air intake. So that is gonna go there instead of off my air intake now. It'll make more sense later, but I'll show you the adapters I purchased so we can adapt this to work with our C7. And then right here, this one I'm probably just going to block off for now, but it's another perfect spot for if you need, again, somewhere for this to go to, like maybe an oil catch can. Who knows? The bottom of the plenum up first. What you would do is take this and you would take these little gaskets right here, remove the staple. That way we don't have to worry about any of these getting snagged on the staple and then you having to make a gasket or something. Anyways, you would just take it and again, just follow the line, put it in, and it should end right here. What you can do, as you can see, they leave this little spot on here, so you can use a hook pick later if you want to remove them. But again, start with the corners and just put the corners in, line them up, make it look pretty on all of these. Heck, you know what? I'll just lightly put one of these in here for you. I'm not gonna be installing mine again today, so, but yeah, all you would do is slowly put these in and then go from there. Once that is ready, you'll see that you have a short end and a long end. What you would do is take the long ends of these screws, throw Loctite on here, and if you want, drop a little bit of Loctite into the aluminum heads. That will make sure that it is nice and lubricated so you will not cross thread. Again, you can use engine oil or also assembly lube. I like to use the Loctite so there is no chance of these things backing off. So again, Loctite, and hand thread these into all the screw ports, not here, but on the head side. After you hand thread them, you don't have to do much. Like I said, don't start gripping these with pliers and accidentally wreck these threads. Just crank them in. Trust me, these bolts are gonna do the rest with the washers. So after you get those into the head, you now have stanchions for this to sit on. We have these gaskets in here already. Place the plenum down through the screw holes. Once you do that, washer, and if you want to, a little bit of Loctite on the top of here, so that way these screws, or I should say nuts, sorry, these nuts right here will tighten onto there. I'll give you that torque spec in 1 sec, but again, there's another torque pattern. I'll also show you that in 1 second. This will require 2 passes. What you'll do, first of course, hand thread them on. After that, put this one to 50 inch-pounds. Same with this one, then this one, then this one, then that one, this one, this one, this one, and finishing with that one. After you've gone ahead and done all that for the first pass, crank it up to 106 inch-pounds. Important, inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. Again, last pass, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. After you've done that, the plenum is fully bolted down. Geez, that looks so bad on there. It was just goo. First thing you should do, go into here, slide all the washers onto these screws. What this is gonna do is just keep them from falling around. You can make sure that you actually have enough of them before you start assembling this thing. I am very fascinated at the fact that I actually took the patience to put 12-point hardware on here, which is really, really awesome. The other thing you can do is either use assembly lube or they say engine oil. What I like to actually lubricate the threads with is just a little bit of thread lock. Believe it or not, thread lock acts like a lubricant, so you should use it. And what it'll do is make sure that it's not going to bind up the threads and wreck them. So you should always use some sort of lubricant when doing this, and at least the thread lock isn't going to back out over time. It's going to help hold this. So if you have some blue thread lock, go ahead and grab that for after you slide these screws all in like so. So from the first box, you'll have these ones, which go down below. We won't be using these right now. This will be when you mate this to your block. Right here though, you can take a quick opening of this and we can take this cord out. I do find it different that you have to assemble it yourself. Again, I only say this because you'd think that maybe they would cut it already for you, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. Take your gasket, hold it pretty much in the center and start here. Just go all the way around the edge and just put it in here. Might take you a second because it is, well, barely fits in. It's a different way of doing it, that's for sure. Okay, let's go ahead, just dangle this over the edge. And then this one, this comes up over here and again we're just running it along the edge and then we're just going to hold it just over, and we want to make sure it's in that groove. Whatever you do, make sure it's in the groove like that. From here, just make sure it's sitting nice. Take your plenum top and just put it on. We do not want this to move around too much. Okay, again, I'm just probably gonna pull this off because I'm crazy like that. Yep, everything is good. Okay. As long as you don't slide around too much, we should be good. We don't have to do too much aligning right now. We'll do that afterwards. Remember how I jinxed myself about the washer? I'm actually missing one. I guess they missed one during install, or maybe they sent me an extra screw. I don't know yet. I will see after I assemble it. Okay, so like I said, you can use engine oil or thread lock. I like to use a little bit of thread lock. All you need to do, we're not tightening them right now. All you're gonna do is throw a little bit of thread lock on. Oh, that was way too much. Wipe my hand. Literally all you need to do with the thread lock is a little dab. Yeah. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better this time. Just like that. Nothing like the first one. That should be perfect for, hey, this is what you don't do with thread lock. But yeah, anyways. Just go ahead and hand do them. Don't try to start cranking these bad boys in with your drivers yet. We want to make sure that the threads mate nicely. If you go and start mating this and cranking these down, we won't have any good alignment for one. And two, we want to make sure that we don't accidentally cross thread, because that would really, really suck. Try to put it on the very beginning of the threads, by the way. If you do that, then it'll automatically start lubricating as you turn it. It makes it much better and smoother, as you'll feel. The first couple threads might feel a little off, and then after that, it's gonna feel great. Just doing that. From this point, what we're gonna do is just semi kind of hand line it up. Don't tighten, we're just sinking these down. And we don't have to worry about lining this up because we're not putting any pressure on this. We just wanted to semi-squish this gasket so it doesn't move when we cut it, but I'll show you exactly what's gonna happen in 1-2 seconds. I just wanna make sure I get all these kind of sunk down so it's slowly pinching the gasket just a tiny bit. Okay, from here, we need an X-Acto blade. What you need to do is straight flush down saw this gasket, just like that. And if it feels like it might be sticking out a bit, we'll just cut it. Yeah, just like that. Okay, perfect. Now I know for sure it's going to seal. Now that we've got this, without the gasket. What we want to do is put in these screws. And the reason why is this is going to actually pull the plate to seal, and then we can tighten those down. So, first things first, let's quickly make sure this is going to mate nice. If you want, you can either grab that first, or just, I would throw in a couple screws first with a bunch of blue. There we go. Let's go ahead and throw one easy to access blue screw in. I'm actually gonna throw just a little bit of tension on this just because then it's not so wiggly and rubbing up against everything. There we go. That can sit there for a sec. This one can sit here in a second. Again, I almost didn't follow my own rule first. Just line this up right here and do it with your fingers first. All right, I'll leave that one right there for a second because it doesn't feel friendly and I don't want to force it to do anything. I bet you it's because I tighten this. There, I bet you now it'll screw in just fine. There, that one's good. And again, we're just doing these to seat the gasket for when we tighten these ones down. So from here, just go ahead and cinch them up so that way we know that this plenum, there should be no gap, zero. So go ahead, give these a little bit of a tighten, nothing too crazy. And this is gonna come off anyway because we need to add the gasket after. Well, let's go ahead and cinch up the top first. So now that we know that this is completely sat where we need to, we can go ahead and actually tighten up the bolts for the top plenum. Give me one sec. What I'm gonna do is get my torque wrench all set up, show you where it's at, and we'll go ahead and show you the torque sequence. It's super important that I go over all this with you. See how there's absolutely no, well, other than this, how there's no gaps here? If you want, you can go ahead and we can check this once again once this is done, but go around the entire throttle body adapter plate here and there should be no gaps here. Let's go ahead and set this to 75 inch-pounds. And that would be right here. How you know? It's 70 and at the 5. Anyways, the first one that we want to do is this one right here. So go ahead, slap this on here. Perfect. Go to this corner right here. Perfect. From there to this one right here. Whoa, bonked my camera. Right there. Perfect. Then number 4, which is right here. This top corner. Again, I'm just having to hold it there. Perfect. And then this one, which is already done because that was the first one. Ta-da! And then from there, since we've already done this one, come right here. I'm just gonna get my hand around the camera again. There. And it goes from that one to up here. There we go. And then this one right here. This one right here. And then this one right here. And this one right here. And what we're gonna do is leave it at this, but take your torque off. Because this next part is gonna take us a while and you should never leave torque on your torque wrench. At this point, go ahead and remove the throttle body part of the plenum here, and that way we can go ahead and make the gasket. So they gave us two. I'm guessing that's just in case you mess one up. But let's go ahead and open this up. We'll go like this. Again, halfway, right about there. And we're just gonna seat it into here. This one you get to press in. Surprisingly, this one is much thicker of a gasket than the other one. Just like that. Just like that. So we can see where the two are gonna mate right there. And what we have to do is right where that dot is, we're gonna cut this here and cut this here, and they need to sit right there pretty close. And then what we have to do is pull the gasket out and actually glue it right there. So we are the manufacturers of this gasket. Again, make sure this is seated perfectly nice all the way around here. And from here, we just hold it up and we cut it. Now, it's important when we're cutting this that we make sure it stays inside this little spot right here. So let's see if we can do this. There we go. Okay, that side's in there. And again, let's see if I can show you how. See where it is? We're trying to keep it in there. We might have to shave this a little bit still, but we want to keep it nice and tight in there, not kinked. Because if it gets kinked, then we're in trouble. So I want to say right about here. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. See how it's in there like that? So now what we do is we pull this out, we put a little glue dot on there, and then we've made ourselves a gasket. And then we're basically gonna fill this full of silicone afterwards, just this one spot. So that way when we bolt this up, it's gonna seal for sure. First, now that we've gone ahead and we've cut those two ends like so, pull this out as carefully as you can, and let's get ready to glue it. So, behold, our super glue. This is gonna be fun. No way else to put it, I guess. What we need to do is put a little dab on this tip and hopefully close this up in time. And then stick these two parts together. And just hold them. Hopefully you line them up. Mine look pretty lined up. Again, yay. I'll leave that for 2 seconds. And then make sure my crazy glue doesn't harden on me. There. Again, that's what this bubble's for. That's why they made it like that, is so that way This stays like this. We'll give this a couple of minutes here just to cure. All right, we're gonna throw a little bit of gasket maker on here. Again, just inside the little spot right here, just like that. That might even be too much, but to tell you the truth, whatever. Now it wants you to let this cure. You can let this cure if you'd like. So I gave it about 2 minutes here because what we're gonna do is put this on and make sure this sits nice and straight. And then we're gonna squish this in. Just like that. Of course, now I got gasket maker on my finger and I'm rubbing it everywhere. All right, there we go. So the gasket maker is now right there. I'm actually gonna rub it over the tip because I'm gonna squeeze the tip into it. All right, let's go over the back here while that's curing over there. This is your map sensor. Make sure it's got a little bit of oil on there. You can see I've already tried to put it in because you're gonna wiggle it. As you're wiggling it, it slips in. Now, it's your job to go get a 1/4 20 screw to fit in there. Kind of sad about that, considering they give you the plugs just in case you don't use these, but they won't give you that. They should have just thrown an extra one of these screws in there so you could have had it tightened down. Anyways, maybe I'm asking too much. For me, I've got some adapters here and I want to show you about which adapters are being used for me. The only hole being plugged is this one. Now, if you're going to be plugging any of these holes, a little bit of liquid thread sealant, throw it in on here, and go ahead and tighten it in there. Just sink it down, you'll feel it seal. We'll just leave that right there for a second. Next, let's go over another kind of fitting. This is a AN6 or -6 to 1/4 NPT thread. What this is going to allow us to do is convert this over. For example, how I told you guys I was going to do the -6. It's going to L away from here and go to my dry sump tank so it gets fresh air so I don't have to have it off my intake anymore. That is what that's for. Next, 1/4, again NPT to quick connect. It's got little barbs in here. This just screws in here, and what this is going to be for, I'm just going to lightly add these in. I'm not going to put these in until I actually install the manifold. But what that's going to do is allow us to use the vacuum line going to the brake cylinder, because unless you put that in there, you're going to lose your vacuum, which would not be a good thing. So make sure that you get one of these quick disconnects because they don't come with it. Again, you can get that off Amazon. I think I paid probably 10 bucks for it, and it's 1/4 20 to quick connect. And again, I'll probably just throw a link to it in the description. I will let you guys know later on to make sure all of this has the clearance that I need. I'm sure it will, but again, I just want to let you know. They do make another adapter for this, which is a 1/4 20 to -6, and it comes with an L already in it, so you can use a straight fitting. I just already had a whole bunch of angled fittings, that's why I didn't. But if I end up running into fitment issues, that's what I would get. And if you're ordering anyway a bunch of -6 lines and you can do a quick connect this way, what I would do is just get the -6 to NPT, 1/4 NPT, tighten it up, and then have it aim that way, so that way you can hook onto it after. Anyways, let's go ahead and flip this back around and we can start to seat these screws. From here, let's go ahead. We're going to throw a little bit of Loctite back on these screws. And again, just a little bit. We've already lubed these screws up, so we don't really have to worry about that too much. We just want to make sure that when we throw this on here, we aren't going in with dry threads, because going in dry is not good. now that we've got those two, let's just go ahead and just thread this in just a little bit. Just so it's on there lightly. Perfect. From here, go ahead, snug them down. Don't tighten them, snug them. Meaning like you want to put them in, this one is just, yeah, just like that, right like that, right like that, there. See how I'm doing it with a hand driver? I'm doing this without really putting too much effort into these bolts. From here, leave it for 15 minutes. From there, we're gonna do our first 75 pass over these. All right, let's go ahead and start doing our first pass of these ones. Again, 75 inch-pounds. Okay, first one. Second one. Third one, which is down over here. And then fourth one, which is down over here. There we go. And then now it's the top ones. Whoops. This one. That one. Okay, and this one, can we get it? Or do I need an extension? Nope, got it. There we go. We've now done our first pass of 75. Let's go ahead, rotate this so we can start doing the 130 inch-pound pass. Once you're set to 130, I'm doing this for the second time because my battery left me. So let's do this. There you go. 1, 2, 3 is down here. Make sure we're fully seated. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and then we are 7 over here, 8, and then 11, 12 because we don't have 9, 10 on this one. 11, 12. And that's at 130 inch-pounds now. Let's go ahead and rotate this and do the throttle body side. So for right here, it's always the bottom first. So that one, that one, and then nice and hidden ones down here. Oh, there we go. Then the one over here. Perfect. And then now we've got these top ones. Right there. Right there. That one. And that one. Ladies and gents, it's bolted together. That's it. Just in case you're curious what it would look like with the K-Tech, when it's done, it's gonna have that buddy off of there. And again, the gasket will be off of there. This is done for a 105, this is a 103, but she'll still work on there with the gasket. So, yeah, Now, when it comes to these ones, if you want to, again, you could go to 105 inch-pounds with some Loctite. That's usually the safest measurement that I know of for when you're going to stuff like this, is about 105 inch-pounds when it comes to the intake manifold. And same with that sensor. If you put in a nice strong bolt off of the back end for that map sensor at the back on this side, then go to 105 inch-pounds with some Loctite on there too. Well, there you have it. I just put it down in here. And as you can see, we also got our Mishimoto radiator here ready to go. We got our oil cooler ready to go. All these lines to go. Everything is ready. We are literally just waiting for the block to come back. But I'm also working on a valve cover project for this. I want to use the factory valve covers, but I'm going to play around with them a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. Press a like if it helped you out and subscribe for more.